Trump is a killing machine in that regard. And let's not forget what he's doing right now. What they've been doing, they being Mossad principally, but CIA and MI6, all backed by Donald Trump and his money. What they've been doing in Iran is acting as if they were Iranian citizens and killing Iranians and burning and pillaging and plundering. It's 1953 against Mohammed Mossadegh on steroids and on high technology provided mostly by the United States and Israel. That's what this protest in Iran has been all about. There have been some genuine protests, no question about it. Inflation's high, bread's not very cheap. You can't hardly get along if you're an average Iranian. But their ire is not so much with their government as it is with the IRGC stealing their money and with the sanctions, which almost any Iranian on the street will tell you is the first reason they're having trouble. So what we did was send Kermit Roosevelt, the latest version thereof, into Iran, and he failed. And now we're looking at the results of that failure, and God only knows what's going to happen now.
Well, there you have it. That was retired U.S. Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson telling you what really was going on inside of Iran during these so-called protests. Hey everyone, Johnny here, Don't Speak News. Well, this is news they don't want us speaking about, obviously. But yet they admitted to it themselves, the Mossad, that is. So the protests in Iran were bankrolled by the killing machine Trump, have been hijacked principally by Israel's Mossad in cahoots with the CIA and MI6, just like they did in 1953 when they overthrew the government of Iran. And they brag about it to this day. So here we are, Mossad admits it's inciting the Iranian protests, claims to have agents on the ground. As they put out on their X account here on Monday, it says, "Go out together into the streets. The time has come," the Mossad wrote in its official Farsi language X account on Monday. Then they added, "We are with you, not only from afar and verbally, we are with you in the field." And there's all kinds of videos now that are coming out showing arms being handed out, ammunition being handed out, grenades, and so on. And so I put them all over my Telegram account since I got up this morning. Anyway, it says it's not every day that one of the world's most notorious intelligence services steps out from the shadows to detail its destabilization activities, although the Mossad has made exemptions in the case of Iran before. In 2018, for example, it admitted to collaborating with the MKO, an ultra-violent terror group responsible for thousands of bombing attacks and assassinations inside of Iran to try to overthrow the Islamic Republic. And then during the Tehran protests, a number of shopkeepers and traders took to the streets of Tehran on Monday over the devaluation of Iran's real currency, which triggered the resignation of the central bank's governor. That's how these protests all got started, but they were peaceful to start with. But then, of course, the Mossad, CIA, and MI6 had their people join in. And the semi-official Fars news agency said protesters gathered in two areas and moved toward the city center, some chanting fringe slogans and police intervening to reopen blocked roads. And I'll let you read the rest on your own. It's over on my Telegram account. But point is, this was all facilitated by the Mossad, CIA, MI6, posing as Iranian forces in some cases to try and incite the people to rebel, to rise up against their government, which in large they did not do. So there's some more videos here of masked individuals with knives, machetes, shotguns, wreaking havoc on January 8th and 9th. They attacked mosques, bystanders, and civilian vehicles, just trying to agitate any way, shape, and murder any way, shape, and form that they could. So that's what really was going on inside of Iran. But make no mistake, as I put on don'tspeaknews.com a little bit ago today, it's not if, but when Trump will bomb Iran. Greenland will not be free, and America is in stage 5 of collapse. So here we go, by Helena Glass over at Global Research. It was sent to me here yesterday to post on the website, and I decided to do so. So it's not if, but when Trump will bomb Iran. Given he's scheduled to be at the World Economic Forum January 18th, the ego would be inclined to brag what a great warmonger he is before the biggest and baddest attendees present. With protests ongoing, it's difficult to see how he would escape murdering civilian Iranians while forcing the Ayatollah to flee. It also ventures into the cosmos. How much destruction and devastation will be forthcoming before an Israeli prime minister is installed? Or prime ruler, I guess. So far, Americans are on the end feed of massive terrorists. We're going to shell out 100 plus billion to rebuild the oil infrastructure in Venezuela. And we will be tabulating some 500 to 750 billion to rebuild Gaza and the West Bank. Meanwhile, Trump is thinking about making Rubio president of Cuba and the Federal Reserve chair, a BlackRock appointee who will smile warmly while destroying the last vestige of what was America. And then there's the $500 billion increase for Pentagon funding. Greenland will not be free. Keep in mind there are only 93 miles of road in all of Greenland, making infrastructure for mining, rare earth, and gold relatively impossible. New ports would need to be developed. Electricity generation is minimal, with blackouts periodically occurring. All machinery and equipment would have to be imported. Labor would have to be imported. The list is nauseatingly long. Like Venezuela, it's likely Trump would have to print more deficit money to even begin any projects, which could take years to a decade to become feasible. The full bankruptcy of America would seem to leer its monstrous head from the White House, because everything Trump is proposing will never come to fruition in his lifetime. In addition, all his dreams of fairyland could be quashed with the Supreme Court decision, which was scheduled for today and has been pushed again for a later date. So, which leads me to believe we are missing something, a pattern. In 1590, Spain was the richest empire on earth, controlling over half the gold and silver, and their military was a dominant force across Europe. Within 80 years, they were bankrupt and never recovered. In 1918, Britain ruled the largest empire in history. Within 40 years, their currency collapsed, and they became a vassal of America. Empires exhaust themselves with debt and a collapse of their currency hegemony, always following the same pattern of rise, war, ego, currency, rupture, and defeat. The stages of an empire's fall. Number one, military overextension. Spain got to the point wherein half its revenue was spent on military incursions across multiple continents. The cost of maintaining the military devalued everything else, and we have that going on in America today. Currency debasement. Spain began mixing copper into their gold and silver, to the point that they were trading in copper. Number three, to combat overspending, the royals of Spain accumulated more debt, ultimately building so much debt that their ability to repay was unsustainable and eroded trade. Exactly what's happening right now. 4 bankruptcies in 40 years, borrowing to pay debt. Number 4, loss of production, manufacturing, leading to reliance on trade when you suddenly realize you have nothing to trade. Yes, all the manufacturing in America was moved overseas 50 plus years ago. Number 5, society failure was a direct result of a failing economy leading to uncontained crime, slums, a population of beggars. Within 100 years, Spain became an inconsequential country, barely surviving and hardly a superpower. Yes, and America's on that very same decline right now. Always collapsing from internal economic failure, always following the same script. I will take down America without firing a shot. It's questionable whether America's gold reserves exist. Our manufacturing base has collapsed. Trade is becoming ever more sparse as Trump makes America non-competitive and continues the spiral of trillion-dollar deficits. Yes, Trump was put in place for a lot of reasons, but he was mainly put in place to see the overall demise of America, the final demise. And that's what these tariffs are intended to do as well. While these failed empires collapsed after stage 5, the U.S. hasn't, by sheer resilience, calling the cleaners Trump and Israel. To effectuate stages 6 and 7 for a complete decay, stage 6 is where we are today when other countries no longer rely on America's fiat paper money. BRICS are moving back to gold and silver. And that's why you see them rising so fast and not coming really back down very much. Remember, silver was just over $30 here a year ago. Now it's over 90 earlier today. The Middle East is recognizing alternate currencies. And with Israel at Trump's helm, the war machine is now overextended and pushing toward a complete failed empire. Bombs in 1 year: Sudan, Nigeria, Somalia, Russia, Iran, Venezuela, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, Lebanon, and Iran again. This is not coincidental. The takedown of America is the end game, and the lizards have no intention of rebuilding robust economies. That would be the illusion. Yes, like making America great again was always an illusion. There is no real money to prop us back up. Trump is now resorting to outright stealing to keep us running until the final decay, which will be economic and agricultural collapse, sending crime out of control. And we're almost there. The same pattern over and over. As the economy collapses, citizens emigrate. Those who stay fight for any remaining goods. When visiting the Detroit Auto Factory yesterday, the manager informed Trump he had over 5,000 positions he couldn't fill. Trump's response was, buy robots. The number of farm bankruptcies in 2024 were 55% higher than 2023. And I've got farmers in North Dakota, acquaintances of mine, that won't even talk to me about it. They won't answer my texts because it's that bad, and they don't want to talk about it. The number in 2025 is higher than 2024. Agriculture has a low margin for survival, and Trump's response? Import more beef from Argentina to lower the prices here. Unbelievable. Trump's policies are not about making America great. They're about feeding the 7 stages of collapse as led by bankers, the money changers, debt, every single scenario throughout history, providing the blueprint. And there you go. Short, sweet, and to the point. That's one of the reasons I like this article. So yes, it's not if, but when Trump will bomb Iran. Greenland will not be free, and America is in stage 5 of a 7-stage collapse. Actually, I'd say stage 6. But anyway, it's well on its way to collapse. So is Australia. As you look here, I came across this the other day on Telegram. This article is a little more detailed. The Sunday Morning Herald says that social media posts could fall foul of the new hate speech laws. So free speech advocates and civil liberties and religious groups are urging the Albanese government to halt and substantially rewrite its proposed expansion of new hate crime laws, warning the legislation risks inflicting lasting damage on free expression if rushed through the parliament in the aftermath of the Bondi terror attack, which was a false flag, as we know, designed to do this very thing, destroy what was left of free speech by calling it hate speech. And they're going to do it here in America too. Have no doubt. They're already talking about it. The ADL are already talking about it. Experts argue that the omnibus bill goes well beyond what's required to respond to the atrocities at Bondi, lowering criminal thresholds, reversing long-standing legal protections, and expanding executive power in ways likely to chill legitimate political debate and produce unjust outcomes. Indeed. They warned the government was recalling Parliament next week while still in the heat of national trauma with inadequate scrutiny of far-reaching reforms. The concerns have also drawn international attention, with a senior U.S. State Department official criticizing the proposed laws as clumsy, warning they could lead to perverse outcomes by criminalizing legitimate opinion while allowing extremists to exploit exemptions written into the legislation. Opposition is also expected to widen in coming days, with media and technology groups understood to be concerned the new offenses could capture public interest journalism, online commentary, and user-generated content, while exposing publishers and platforms to legal risk under vague and untested standards. At the center of the controversy are new and criminal offenses for racial vilification and inciting hatred, punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment. Civil liberties groups warn the bill's language, including prohibitions on promoting hatred, glorifying past acts, or conduct that might cause fear or intimidation, boy, that's really vague, is alarmingly broad and risks criminalizing mainstream political speech. So anyone could say, oh, I'm fearful or I'm intimidated by so-and-so's speech, and oh, you need to go talk to him, please. And they'll go do it. They can weaponize speech against you now. They have been anyway. They have been already. And it's really bad in the UK. But it's about to turn up a notch in Australia as well. that argue a social media post questioning multiculturalism, immigration policy, or religious practices could follow the law, encouraging widespread self-censorship among Australians fearful of prosecution. And that's exactly what they want. That's why they make laws like this, to get everybody to self-censor and stop talking, at least about the things they don't want you to talk about. That's why they criminalize it. Critics say the bill risks emulating the United Kingdom's approach to online speech. Well, they're all part of one happy kingdom, one happy commonwealth, right? Where arrests over contentious posts have become increasingly common without addressing the underlying drivers of extremism. Yeah, like Israel committing genocide in Gaza, right? And then gaslighting everybody about it, saying it's just fine because we said so, is essentially what they've been saying. And now you're not allowed to speak about it anymore. Or at least that's what they want. They want to make it illegal for you to speak about it anymore. And let me pull up something that I found this morning from the ADL as well here in the United States. So I'll just let Jonathan Greenblatt from the ADL tell it to you himself. This is only a couple minutes long. Here we go.
We measure and track. Number two, we monitor and disrupt. We have a whole apparatus. I have 40 analysts working full time, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, monitoring extremists. We monitor them online, social media, messaging apps, video games, cryptocurrency, podcasts, short form video, Wikipedia, LLMs. We monitor these people and we share the intelligence with the FBI. You saw last month, you heard about the thing that happened at Wilshire Boulevard Temple. Our analysts investigated what happened. They said they were Koreatown for Palestine, this group of people. They weren't. We were able to ascertain they were from a group called the Turtle Island Liberation Front. Turtle Island is how like left-wing activists refer to the United States. They don't call it America, they call it Turtle Island, like the Iranians call it the Zionist entity, or they won't call it by its name. The Turtle Island Liberation Front, we gave them a whole dossier. What is Turtle Island Liberation Front? What are their ideas, their goals? Who are they? We identified the people who were in the synagogue. This was on Wednesday, December the 10th. On Monday, December the 15th, this is going to ring a bell. Kash Patel announced they cracked a terror ring where they arrested 4 people who were planning New Year's Eve bombings. Turtle Island Liberation Front. At least one of the people I know for certain was in the building at Wilshire Boulevard Temple, vandalizing it and disrupting the event. So we're monitoring left-wing radicals like the DSA and the anti-war crazies and the pro-Palestine crazies. We're monitoring right-wing.
The anti-war crazies. So it's crazy to be anti-war. It's crazy to be pro-life or pro-Palestine in this case. You know, an anti-genocide. Unbelievable, these people.
Extremists like white supremacists, armed militia groups. We're monitoring political Islamists and Christian nationalists, all of them. And then we train. We're the largest trainer of law enforcement in America, extremism and hate. We train 20,000 officers every year.
Yeah, we will monitor your social media and check your bank accounts. I mean, just unreal, these guys. Any criticism of Israel is not going to be allowed. We can see it playing out in the UK, Australia, and now we're going to see it play out, as Jonathan Greenblatt just got done telling you, here in America. They've been doing it for a long time. I don't tell you guys about half the attacks that come against me, electronic and otherwise. The Holy Spirit tells me about witchcraft being thrown at me all the time, curses. And then on the electronic front, I've got the Zionists trying to send me bogus links telling me that I'm in violation of copyright and blah, blah, blah. When they never show me what I'm actually in violation of. And they say, well, you have to log in using this link in order to find out. And then I make a scan of the link and find out it's malware they're trying to send me to. They're trying to get me to log into fake websites and download malware. And so that's just a few of the things that they've been doing lately. This is why you have to be prayed up first, prepped up second, because the spiritual war is first and foremost, and that comes at me first every day. Every single day, without fail. So, Ephesians 6, study it, live it, because we are in it all the time, 24/7. The spiritual war never stops. and Satan's minions never stop. I'll give them credit for one thing. They've got a lot of energy and they never stop. They're dedicated to their cause, more so than most Christians are. So, wow. Unbelievable. So much going on right now. So much happening all at once. And American Mystery Babylon is going to burn, just like this picture I put on the post here shows. And it's burning right now, but it's really going to start burning here in 2026. So prayed up and prepped up at all times. So that will be it for this particular episode. Don't forget don'tspeaknews.com, where I'm at right now, is home base for all that we do. I put all kinds of stories here, over 3,000 now, that we can't put anywhere else because it's news we're not supposed to speak about, right? Just like I'm talking about today. You know, stuff like this story here, this story over here, this story over here. Over 3,000 of them, like I said. A lot of them have to do with the mark of the beast and the Antichrist, which has been one of my primary focuses here, oh gosh, since 2018. That's when it first came out, with Trump being the Antichrist. And then the mark of the beast followed a couple years later. So unreal how fast things have been going, guys, especially now. And there has been some shifting of priorities here at home, as I posted here last week, shifting priorities, balancing work and health. And I have been applying for different positions that I feel I can handle as my gut conditions have gotten a little bit better. But keep me in your prayers as I have some interviews that'll be coming up here next week. So I will keep doing this. I'm not giving up and I'm not going away. I'm just saying that I may not be here as much as before because of the shifting priorities, trying to balance our budgets and our health and everything else. It's been quite the struggle. It's been quite the struggle, and it seems like we just keep falling behind. So therefore, the priorities are shifting a little bit. And but don't worry, we're not going anywhere. It's just you may not see as much of me because of what's going on. So I thought I'd make everybody aware of that. And that will be it for now. God bless, take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.